big thing. Yep, that's how it is when you're starting out.
Hi everyone, Toridey. It's another beautiful day, and like you all know, um, when I feel like I need to grow, I reach out to people who have material, people who are smart, people who are doing things that I really appreciate. Uh, Today, I don't know if I should say she's a friend, a sister, but she's somebody I admire a lot. Welcome to Toridey.
Thank you. That was so sweet.
Your
Thank you.
name, I don't know. It's so difficult to pronounce your name, but I know Kimbeg, right?
Yeah.
What's the first one?
Alieh.
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 Man called name Alieh.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about you.
A little bit about me. This is always a hard one. Let's see. A little bit about me. I feel like it's usually hard when people tell me about yourself. I don't know if they're asking about work, life, or
Where you were born,
where I was
schooling, a
born.
little bit of...
Well, I was born in Cameroon, specifically in Bamenda, so I'm from the Northwest. I went to school here in the United States. I came here after high school, so I got my bachelor's at the University of Michigan in microbiology, and then I went ahead to get my master's in health informatics as well. And then when I finished, I started working. I work in the healthcare space, and I just wrote my first book, so just gonna plug that in
Nice
there.
book. Before we get to the book, do you miss anything about home?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I miss my family. I miss the food. I always joke that if I could live in Cameroon and make the amount of money that I make here, ooh, I will move to Cameroon in a heartbeat.
What about half the amount?
Nah, we're not going that low.
Okay.
Yeah, keep the same standards.
Okay. So, what is that one thing about here that makes you feel like, you know what, I think I'm happy I moved to the United States?
I think definitely the opportunity and also that exposure to like a different culture. Like I did get my foundations and my values and everything from Cameroon because that's where I was born and that's where I was raised. But the US and everything that's going on here, my experiences and the people that I've met have also like helped me to be the person that I am today. So I'm actually very appreciative of both of those cultures.
The book, is this your first one?
This is my first book. Yes, this is my first book. So it's like my baby. It's like
What
the start
inspired the
of my
book?
legacy. So what inspired the book? So when I was growing up, my dad would always tell my siblings and I stories, and these were stories that had been passed down from one generation to the next. And so as I grew older, I realized that, okay, I can't remember any of the stories. I could remember the songs because I was really young when my dad told me the stories. So I decided to capture them so that way I could preserve them for future generations. Because especially in today's society where, it's, I don't want to say westernized or modernized, whatever you want to call it, you're losing these little things like storytelling in families. I don't remember the last time my parents told my younger siblings a story just because, that activity that used to bring the family together is being lost. And also I think it's high time we start telling our own stories, right? Because you don't want someone else to say, hey, I went to Cameroon, I heard this story, so let me write about it. So I think it's also about me telling my story and capturing that piece of history for future generations.
Wow. So tell us, is the book out already?
This book is out. Yes, my book is out. It's been out, and yeah, you can get it from, I don't know if you're able to see it, but you can get it from Amazon, Walmart, Target, Baobab Press. I actually just found out a couple of days ago that Walmart and Target are selling the book in their spaces. So I was actually really excited about it. So yeah, you can actually get it from Baobab Press to be shipped anywhere in the world. So it's actually available globally.
So is this book just about storytelling or some good messages that can, let's say, inspire someone? Or
So the book is a classic. So this are like, I don't know if anyone remembers like the John and Mary stories or even like the Tales of the Wise Tortoise. So the book is mainly about storytelling. So it has those stories in it. But I think what makes it really special for me is the fact that I got to collaborate on the book with my younger brother. He's extremely talented. Like I don't even think he knows how talented it is. He's extremely talented. So the cover of the book was actually designed by my younger brother because again, like if you look at it, you can see the fireplace, the stars outside, because back in the day, again, this is how these stories were being told. They're usually told at night, usually around the fireplace, the kids or the adults who gather around, and then one person will be telling those stories and people are eating and they're laughing. So it was just a way to bring like families and, you know, people in the community together. So I think the what makes it really special is I got to work on it with my younger brother. He did all the designs because I cannot draw to save my life, but he's really talented. So
The stories, why do you think it's really important? Is it just about preserving the story or these stories or culture, or what is the message for you?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? It's about me preserving and capturing those stories and also bringing back those little things that you should just bring families together because we're just so busy right now with like storytelling. And then for me too, it's also like, you know, it's a start of my legacy because I do want to leave this earth with some sort of legacy. So this is like the start for me because I knew nothing about writing the books. I was learning throughout the process. You know, it was a whole learning experience for me. I didn't have a mentor or anybody to like guide me to say, hey, the font has to be like this, the pictures need to be this size, the book has to be this size, or you need to edit like this, you need to contact the publisher. So it was just literally me figuring out and leaning on my support system to guide me along the way.
Tell us about your challenges when you were
Well, apart from the fact that I had to work with a 19-year-old who has school and work and who never keeps the time. Now I love my brother. I think one of the challenges for me personally was just figuring things out, right? It's like, how do you start to write a book? My first thing was, okay, I need to get a publisher. So I was able to get a publisher. And I did the self-publishing route. So pretty much you have to pay to have your book published and then hope that you sell enough copies to break even and things like that. So, you know, writing in a way that also like engages people, because I have a blog, but when I wrote the stories initially, I gave my uncle to give me feedback and he was like, it's missing something. Like, you know, you have to add, you have to capture the essence. It almost sounds like you're just like regurgitating, but think about the experiences that you want people to have when they read this book. And so I had to think of my audience when I was writing the book to make sure, you know, that message was coming across and it didn't just sound like, you know how, I don't know, like cramming, when you cram something, you say it back word for word, because like I said, I had forgotten the stories. And then one of the other challenges that I faced was trying to find people who remembered the stories and who could tell me. Because again, we were in the middle of the pandemic when I was writing the stories, and a lot of people were social distancing and they were just avoiding people in their homes. So it was actually quite a challenge to gather the stories. So sometimes I would just go to people's houses, they'll tell me the stories, I'll write them down, or if I can go to their place because maybe they're somewhere else in the world, they'll just send me a voice note, and I have to sit there and like transcribe whatever it is that they send me and then write it down and back and forth. So yeah, it was a journey. It was definitely a journey, and I think it was a fun one too. I don't regret anything.
Your dad.
My dad.
What did he say about the book?
Oh, first of all, when I started writing this book, when I told my dad I was going to write this book, I don't think he took me seriously. And then in September, when he came here, he read the rough draft and he was like, oh, you're actually a pretty good writer. I think this book can like go places. It's almost like I had to prove myself that, hey, I'm actually serious about this thing and I think I can write, right? But I think once he read my first draft, he became like really involved and like more engaged in the process.
So who is this book for? Just Africans or?
This book is for anybody. It doesn't have to be for Africans. It's for anybody who is really interested in like folktales, storytelling, or anything. So the book is for everybody. Like I said, I have people in like Canada, Australia, the UK, who are non-African who have bought the book and they actually love it and they're actually reading it to their kids and like sending me pictures and things like that. So it's almost like a way of me sharing my culture with the world. Yeah, so it is for everyone, not limited to Cameroonians.
Public review.
Public review? What do you mean?
What are people saying about the book?
I mean, people are loving it. So far, I do have a text message from people who are saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're doing this because growing up, I have kids, and I was just thinking they're gonna grow up and not have stories that I used to have when I was growing up. They're just gonna have like more of the I guess the westernized stories because that's the exposure that they have. So I've actually had people reach out to say, hey, I'm actually really excited about this because you've done something that I needed, because I've been looking for books for my kids with the stories from Cameroon and I could never find anything. So public review has been so good, so far so good, and the support has actually been overwhelming. It's actually done better than I thought it was going to do.
Okay. What is the next move?
Next move, can't tell you the official next move here. It's like work in progress. But next move is definitely something bigger, going home and actually doing something with the book, like making it everywhere. So next steps, hopefully to get a global ulterior goal, or alternate, whatever the word is that I'm trying to say that I don't remember. But I do want to eventually have my book on Netflix. So I would like to see the stories on Netflix. I think it's going to be really cool for these kids to say, oh my gosh, I grew up listening to that story and now I can see it on this major platform that we spend most of our time, at least I spend most of my time on. So I spend so much time on Netflix. So that's definitely the next steps. And then also building on some of the stories in the book. So for example, there's a story in the book about a magical poop. And so my younger brother was like, I'm not going to design poop. That's disgusting. And so we start talking. There's actually an image of like the poop there. And so we start talking about this thing. Mind you, it was like 3 a.m. at night. Because again, the designs for this book, I'm actually a very visual person. And my younger brother draws anime. So he would draw and I would say, no, it's not telling the story. You have to tell the story. I need to see the picture and know exactly what story I'm looking at. So if the picture is not telling the story, then we got to do it again. So long story short, this day we were sitting around talking about this poop, and he's like, I don't want to draw this poop. That's gross. And then we just started talking, I wonder what happened to the poop after they bit it. What if we did like a sequel or another series of just the life of this poop? And we're like, oh my gosh, that would be great, right? So it's to continue working with my brother to build on this, build on these stories and continue writing, because I love to write. So definitely more to come.
I want you to look into this camera and talk to your people.
Oh, talk to my people.
With regards to the book and how many other people can contact you.
This book is something that means so much to me. Just the process of actually to me, just thinking about something and saying, hey, I'm going to do this and actually go through with it. It just makes me really proud of myself. And this are just not just stories. This is like a piece of history. This is culture in one book. It's something that somebody can look at and say, hey, I'm a proud daughter of the soil, or these stories represent my background, or they represent a period in my life when I used to, talk to my brother about those stories, or my sisters, or my family. So this is not just a book for me. It's I don't even know how to describe it, but as you can tell, I'm extremely proud of myself. So you can get the book, like I said, on Amazon, Target, Walmart, Baobab Press. Ebook is on Kindle as well. And if you would like to contact me, you can email me or just send me a DM on Instagram, Alieh Kimbeg. That's probably the easiest way, because I might see it and respond. I'm really bad at email. I was going to say email, but God knows I'm not going to see it.
Thank you very much for coming. Is this my copy?
Yeah, that's your copy.
You better sign it really fast.
Of course. I'm definitely gonna sign it. I got you.
Thank you very much for coming, and I hope to have you here tomorrow, after tomorrow.
Of course, I'm gonna be a regular on the show, so stay tuned. Hey, I'm taking over from him.
That
So
would be good.
you're not gonna see him anymore. It's gonna be the Alieh Kimbeg show going forward. Joking.
Nah, that would be good. Now there's some more to read I'll be getting for today. Go get the book. I think it's interesting, really, really interesting.
Hey, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope I did well.
Yeah, you're good. Can you do me a favor? Just hold.